Okay, so I'm Jennifer, RVRoof.com and FlexArmor, and we have a FlexArmor roof now for previous and past customers. And I asked, was there something that people would like me to get more video of or address certain questions? So going through more of the start to finish, I guess, and what we do when we're doing the roof was one of the requests. So what I'm going to try and follow this one a lot closer than normal. This one is a fiberglass roof. It's an older Holiday Rambler. For a lot of people, we're their last choice on a fiberglass roof. It would cost so much to go back to the factory and have this redone, and we can do the roof about $7,000 or $8,000. So for a lot of people. So what we're going to do in this case, I'm not really sure what all's going on with it, so they're going to start to take things apart. But the first things that we do, always, they've already gone inside and taken apart those air conditioners, taken apart the vents, because all the air conditioners are going to totally come off. But step one is just the wonderful, joyful part of getting all the caulking off. We got to get this sucker all cleaned up and ready for our products and ready for bonding. We're going to replace, we always replace, if you have still have our old style refrigerators, we're going to replace this in the base. Sewer fixtures will get replaced on every roof. There's going to be new vent covers on all the vents. Not that style, they don't make that style anymore, but we will put a new vent cover on it. Not sure on this particular one. We have a couple different options on skylights. I'm not sure what they'll be doing on this one. So I will be out here and film more of what parts of the process that we can share and show you how we're going to help restore this old Holiday Rambler and get it back on the road for many years more of camping. So this is something you do not see often anymore. I said this is an old Holiday Rambler. It is original skylight. It is still pop riveted. So that's not something we see often. Pop riveted down the middle seam. So we're working on just getting all this asphalt tape off. To have a good quality FlexArmor roof, you need to have good, clean surfaces for bonding and for making sure that you're adhered correctly and that you don't have any future uses. So that, or future issues. So that is our main time-consuming part of doing a FlexArmor roof. Listen, they had the original, not really like a turn-up-on tape, it's more like a roofing tar tape. So we're just working on getting all that off. Holiday Rambler aluminum roof. All roofs eventually have some kind of deterioration and leak, and that's where FlexArmor can help you out. I'm getting this one cleaned up so we can get this sprayed. Never get everybody all on one camper. They're still putting one together. We're also going to be swapping out crank up antenna for a new wine guard, so that's something that we can do when we're doing the roofs. I'm back over here, keep working on cleaning this roof. I did want to say one thing. There's normally more people working on a roof at once, but they're over there been finishing up a fifth wheel over there, so that's why they were working on it yesterday. I'm pretty sure I got some video, but today pretty much been me, David. Kate's out here now. She's finished some office job stuff. We're out here working on it. Normally we've got like a whole crew, so just been a little bit of a problem child putting that together over there. Had some non-traditional parts that the owner has been working on, so took a little bit longer. This here though is an example of what takes so long. When we're doing a FlexArmor roof, we spend a lot of time cleaning and prepping. I'm not going to be able to show every little video, every little step. like I've probably mentioned before. So we're going to show as much as we can, but this is what we spend the most of our time doing. Still a little dirty right now. It has a final cleaning process to go through, but getting your each component ready takes on average no more than an hour per component. Every one of them always seems to have something a little different. This one had that real sticky, like roofing tar. So these have taken a little bit longer to clean up the surfaces, and I had to go out way further than I normally would to get all that residue off. So this is our adventure on a aluminum Holiday Rambler. Like I said, probably 20 plus years. This here is a fiberglass end cap, so we'll be showing you all the different parts and what we do. We are in the final stages here on this metal furniture, working on getting this Holiday Rambler done. So day and a half of prep, getting components ready, getting about to do some stuff that we don't like to make a big deal about on the internet. We have a new toy here for Stanley, so we've been kind of playing with it. So we'll be back with some more stuff in a little bit. And then tomorrow or later today we'll be spraying the. So we were just talking about, we kind of took a break. I didn't film for a little while. There's some little bits and pieces in the prep that we don't share, we don't show, we don't give full explanations on. I know a lot of customers want it, but we just can't. We've had too many people take our verbiage, our websites, information, and you have a lot of people who are trying to imitate and copy, so they're missing this 20 plus years of spray experience. So we're not going to divulge every detail, and there's certain things that we have had made just for us and preps that we do that you won't find even in the spray industry for what we do. So we just make sure to kind of keep that to ourselves. Alright, so we're starting to spray the Holiday Rambler roof, and one of our common questions we get is, how do you know you're getting the right thickness, the good thickness? We have a section back there in the back corner where people, when they first are learning, they practice and we pull it off so they can get a feel for the thickness and how well they're covering. With experience, you start to count. He's actually counting how many times he hits something. Through the gel time, you know, it takes time to learn how long to wait before you add more so that you don't get it too thick. That comes from experience. But he tends to hit every component the same amount of times. Watching when you spray and making sure that you really have gotten in every nook and cranny is critical. As we We always go around every component first, make sure that everything is sealed up, looks good. When you see them get done doing this part, I might run out of battery. But we go around every component first, every seam, any place like that. Make sure everything is totally coated, nothing's exposed. And then he'll go back and fill in the wide areas. TV antenna. He said you saw him looking, and what he's gonna do in a minute is go around and he's looking for like little blemishes like that to come back and make sure that we hit before filling in all the wide open areas. So that's the kind of inspection that he'll do right now. And so we'll be back in a couple minutes. So now we'll start filling in the field area. He's just kind of got another couple parts in a way. Everybody always asks us how many layers. And I always kind of am leery of using the term layers because that kind of like implies like you put on a coat, let it dry, come back, an hour later or something. It's a thick, high build product and with extremely high tear strength. So it's really, when he's done doing what you see here, where he's filling in that area, it's going to be almost that 3/16 of an inch. We're always shooting for that 3/16 of an inch. It's thicker around the bases of your components, typically thicker on your side rolls. So when he does a pattern, you'll see he's going to go back and forth this direction. And this falls back to that training thing that they learned from David, where they learned to count. They learned this kind of pattern in their speed. That's why out back we have a place where they practice and they wax it, so they pull it off. That way they get a feel before they get to their shop. You don't want to step in the sticky stuff, so he was gonna. They all have their own little pattern, so you might see videos from other shops doing something slightly different. It is kind of a applicator preference on the order that they do things. I have one person, he actually always starts back here at this corner while most people start at the driver's corner. So it is kind of a preference thing. You can see how quickly we're walking on it. It just stays a little tacky for a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes, maybe 30, 40 seconds. I'm in my socks, so I didn't track stuff up here. My socks will still stick to some of the areas. So he's gonna do this initial fill-in, and then he'll go one more time, inspect the whole area, see if there's anything that might have got missed, because it gels so fast. If there's anything in the way, it could shadow is what we kind of call it, if say there was something in the way. So this will be, go through the whole roof inspection, getting that first kind of initial thickness on there, and then he's going to go back over it one more time, what we call, and he's going to go over one more time after he's done everything. And also he might end up having some trash or some pieces he might cut out. He doesn't like how it looks. He'll hit those again before that final pass. But it's not so much layers. I mean, you could sit here and get it as thick as you wanted, like right there, going back and forth. You don't have to do one layer, let it dry, come back later, or anything like that. We just, when it's at this stage, if you have any imperfections, this is the time after he's done this first pass, so to speak, that, like I said, he can go cut anything out. If we got to run, anything like that, we can get rid of it and then go over it, and it makes it totally go away. That's about the closest to wet sanding or anything that we can do. And then he'll inspect it one more time and then do just one final pass over the whole thing. And then we will get up here, and that first piece of tape we put down had that wire in it. We'll get up here and pull those lines and cut everything, and he'll put the white UV protectant that we use. Keeps it cooler. It's a cosmetic. Alright, so you see some black marks out there on the roof. That's where he might have found trash, imperfections he cut off. And so now he's going to go back and hit those areas, make sure that they're coated good. And then when that's all tack free, he's going to do the final pass, where it just kind of makes everything look uniform. Like I said, it's not a need to wait between passes. It's just to make it look more uniform when he's done. And we'll get video of that in a minute when he's done doing this. So we'll do that inspection. He's just waiting for it to get tack free. And you see when we say why we want to go back over it one more time, because the way it gels when you're spraying, whatever, see how it looks, like got little glossy areas, some matte areas. So that's why the final uniform pass, it'll just make it look a lot more uniform, and then when you put the white top coat on it, it makes it just look better. This is the final pass. And like I said, this is just gets it that last bit of thickness and gives it a uniform finish for when we do the top coat. There is no way to have it totally slick and perfect like a paint job, and it has to do with the gel time. So if we slick it off at the top, then when he gets done with this, he's going to get on the sides and he's going to slick the sides. Well, then that's going to have a little splatter up top. So you can never get it like totally smooth, except for in certain cases like Newmars, where all the roof is actually on top. They actually usually have aluminum roll that goes up to here, and there's a piece of trim and we can keep it up top. But those are the only times where you will end up with a like really glassy looking roof. See how much more of a uniform finish. Might be kind of hard to see with just the reflection, but a little bit more uniform finish to that final look. So when we put the final white on it tomorrow, it'll be nice and even looking. It won't look glossy. Okay, so he just slicked the sides. And you can see how uniform that is. He's down. You still always get that little bit of a difference when you do the sides from the top. There is just absolutely no way to stop doing that. Something gels in 6 seconds. It's kind of, there's disadvantages. You see everything has been inspected. No holes, no cracks, no openings, no trash sticking up. We're only human, but we do everything we can to make it the best job that we can. We always have a saying around here that we don't want to see you again till you buy another camper. So we try to make sure that we do it right the first time so that you don't have to come back. And then we're going to get up here in a minute and pull those wires that are coming back. And I'll probably just set the camera up at the end for that. I have to hold this hose so we don't get any paint in it. But this is putting on, it's a special white UV polymer top coat we have. Can handle resisting, it can handle ponding water so it doesn't peel. Has some stretch to it so it doesn't crack. Gives a 20-year UV protection. The FlexArmor itself is the gray that he's covering. That can handle UV for 20-30 years on its own. That's one of the advantages to a pure like what we do. It has a very high UV resistance and a bunch of other better qualities. So the white is got a UV blocker, keeps it from ever aging till all that's gone. We have yet to have anybody needed to redo it. We always say it should be good for 20 years because that's, the people that make it for us, that's what they say based on laboratory testing, using UV machines and stuff. But we have yet to have anybody wear one off. So, you see some of our older videos and stuff, we have some 20-year-old, 19-year-old ones that we've seen that still are white, just look weathered. So we have yet to have it wear off and anybody need to redo it. But we do say it might need it in 20 years. We let the lifetime warranty go because even if you don't update that white, like I said, the poly UV itself has such a good UV resistance, it's going to outlast the camper. You'd have to do some major heavy chemicals to do anything else. And so tomorrow we'll be putting it all together. All right, so we're back. Here is the Holiday Rambler, the aluminum roof. We got it sprayed last night, and today they'll be putting it back together. That's usually what our third day is. When we say 2.5 days, that half day is usually putting it back together. They'll take off all these different components and actually go ahead and do this one. So as you can see there, That's our thickness on that skylight. So we have a proprietary products and processes there that make sure that we're bonded to that. Heat, the cold will not change that. It's part of the guarantee that if we ever have an issue. If it ever broke loose, we would respray it, redo it. And it's finished. We did touch it up. We found after the first couple years that we were running into customers at RV shows, and because they could see that gray edge, psychologically they would want to caulk it. They felt like, oh, it's exposed. So we do touch it up white. Unfortunately, that also does lead to some confusion where people think that the white is the actual roof, and it's not. So like if you do a scratch in it or something, you will not hurt the integrity of your actual roof. But it's not uncommon that customers leave and they think that it's the white doing the work. It's not. It's what's under the white. White's just pretty. White's just cosmetic and UV protectant. So that's that. Here we go. See if I can reach this from the ground. And yes, I know somebody's probably going to bring this up because I can tear the top. It's very thin. It's just kind of like little bits of overspray. As you can see, I'm having a little trouble getting it to tear here on the edges. So, there we go. So that's a bit. We're going to drop the inside trim on this one and clean it out for them before they get done. So that's what they'll be doing today, is unwrapping all this stuff, taking it off the sides, getting all the exposed edges cleaned up, and get the customer to pick it up. So we'll come get some video of them getting it all ready. So some of the exposed edges. So pretty soon we'll tape that out. Like I said, it's just a psychological thing we learned over the years. See how the finish is more even. Like I said, there is nothing nicer than metal or fiberglass roofs on the way that they come out. A lot of the part of the putting it together, we laugh when we go to RV shows and they're like, oh, so you just spray it on. Yeah, it's not that easy, as y'all seen. But here, like, there's a lot of tape residue. We have to work on getting it off and getting things cleaned up. I said reassembled. This one's not too bad. 2 air conditioners, 2 vents, not bad at all. It's this day and age, it seems like it's every week we've got 10 solar panels, that kind of thing. So this one won't be bad. So everything's been reinstalled. They're touching it up, and they'll be pulling it out in a little while. We usually, most of the locations, put brand new vent covers. And get that little touch up there going on, and they clean it up so that it's all nice and clean when the customer comes and picks it up. Alright, so they have finished reassembling this roof on this Holiday Rambler. I hope that you found the video helpful. Might answer some more questions, and hopefully we'll do another one soon, maybe with a whole bunch of woodwork, that kind of thing, to show you more of those kind of repairs.